Tiny and me discovered we could beam up to the 1, 2, 3.
Hold on. You ready?
I'm gonna get sick.
Y'all are gonna get like a Nick buzz. Oh God, it's already chugging.
No, we're good.
Ray Stevens.
Who's Ray Stevens?
There's the last thing I was trying to look up on the ancient tablet.
the ancient tab. That thing's so old. That was how relevant he was.
I need to bite the bullet and get an iPad because using this thing, I feel being called poor just holding.
Hold on, you mean that a tablet from 2009 is not a good one?
Hey,
That it's not. That it's not.
I really am the little brother. I got the
beacon of
hand-me-down.
performance.
my wife got really into this
wife?
iPad whenever
Oh, I
she
left
got it.
mine in there.
What was it
My
that you left?
tablet.
Do you need it?
Not really. I'm just raw dog it like usual.
Are you good at raw dogging it on this? If you need it, I can go get it. It's not going to hurt anything.
I mean, it would be nice to have it.
Well, okay, I'll go get it. Hold on a second. Hey, Otto, would you care to do something for me real quick?
It's in my bag of computation. Well, I mean, it's not going to fit in the other bag, so.
Oh God, I haven't used it. Oh, Patreon, you're getting so much extra today.
So much extra.
S video. Oh Lord,
That's the wrong bottle. That's possibly not even mine. Well, it's definitely not mine because I always drink all of mine because I'm a big boy. I am what's known as a thick, juicy good boy, and I finish my water. Bitha.
Also, it's responsible to finish your water, and if you don't,
Also,
dump it
I'm
out.
not saying you're a boy. Just saying I finish my water.
But dump out your empty water bottles or your water bottles before you throw them away. They say actually a large percentage of Earth's water is trapped in plastic water bottles, so dump it out. Be responsible to the planet.
Yeah, and just think about the poor little people doing community service when your bottle makes to the recycling center. There's like 3 to 4 people who are there doing their civic duty to make up for the wrongs that they've done, emptying your bottles.
Is that coming from a
And it's
perspective of
horribly
somebody that
smelly.
might have been somewhere he wasn't supposed to be, but then got in trouble for it and had to do some of that?
No, because I didn't do that. I separated the cardboard.
Well, how hoity and toity of you.
It was not much better.
I bet it got to stinking sometimes.
Oh God, it was so bad.
Cardboard be smelling.
Well, the second day I got to run the Bobcat because
Oh, that's almost a treat.
well, I wasn't supposed to, but here's the thing. The guy that was supposed to run the Bobcat that would occasionally mix the cardboard up because it gets to a point where you just can't pull stuff out anymore. He was real sick and didn't come in. And the guy didn't have somebody else to spare and he was like, don't have anybody to run the Bobcat. And I said, I've driven a Bobcat. He said, you have? And I said, yes. What I really meant was no, but I can figure it out.
So I lied.
So I lied and just sat and drove a Bobcat all day once for community service.
So not
That
only
was the best one.
So not only did you never drive a Bobcat, you applied for the position by saying yes.
Yes,
I can do this confidently.
yes. And you know what? He said, thank you. You did a really good job today.
And that describes Tiny as a person.
Look, are you saying that I lie?
No, I say that you only stretch the truth until it becomes it.
Generally, for comedic effect.
Like just a little bit. Like, no, I can do this
Well, I mean, that's what you do when it comes to job things.
Until
you
you
never
can
tell them you can't.
until you can say until finally it's like somebody's watching and then you're doing that and they're like, oh yeah, you can. I told you so.
Yeah, God, you didn't believe me?
Like, how dare you question me?
Exactly. I can drive anything with wheels and or tracks. They're like extensions of my body.
Brakes are optional.
Do you like
Yeah,
plug
I don't
into them
need
like
'em.
a Jaeger? Are you able to tap into the drift?
I can't give away my secrets.
I think Tiny's a Jaeger pilot.
He might be.
I don't know what that is.
It's a mech. It's from Pacific Rim.
Sure.
They're like a mech pilot. They have to be
Sure.
like in tune with the mech.
Does it involve the wing dang doodle?
No, it is a full body suit.
Oh, well, then it's totally different.
you
Totally
will be
different
wearing
idea.
spandex.
Oh, I'm cool with that.
You will be, but the thing is, most of the time you have to have a partner with you at the exact same time on the opposite side, where you're basically going to share each other's brain waves
What's her name?
or his.
Gross. I don't want a dude in my brain.
But what if you understand each other a little bit easier without the conflict? Not saying emotionally, like anything.
Look,
like,
the only person that I want to call my partner would be a partner.
Are we?
Just throwing that out
Are
there.
we gonna put Tiny into a Pacific Rim AU fanfic?
no. Ooh, possibly. And I've already got a real good twist.
Because here's the thing: if you're inside of somebody's head for a very long, extended period of time, like literally sharing brain waves, you can't tell me you're not eventually going to want to have sex with them.
I mean,
You're gonna sex them.
maybe not.
No, you will.
That's not an actual. That's not a specified thing that they get into with
That's
Pacific
not in the
Rim.
lore of
you would.
Pacific Rim.
That's
There's
like,
not a
I
level.
guarantee you they be banging.
like there's a deep connection. Yeah,
They'll be like, well, let's meet up in the like lower part of the torso where the bedrooms are, and we'll just bang it out.
yeah, they're not that.
They won't even have to say it. They'll just like it'll just come to them.
It
both as
doesn't
the
give
same
you
thought.
telekinesis.
Yeah,
If you're linked up sharing brain
No,
waves,
no, no.
then
Like
yes.
it's like hooking two computers together. Like it's not like they're meshing. It's like they're both powering one thing.
So like one's on one arm, one's on the other arm.
Yeah, but like they have to be in perfect sync to like match each
Yeah,
other.
wouldn't you be more in sync being inside of the other person?
ooh, that's really hard to say. Like maybe they just never tried that because why would they? Like because like the major
Just saying.
like why would the major studio not want penetration for maximum engagement with your partner on this move? Like
We gotta fuck so the Jaeger can move.
like what the fuck's your problem? I don't know. I told you I was getting older. Like
Wait, have you ever seen the anime Darling in the Franxx?
no, I haven't. You've
Well,
missed me on that one. You could have made up every one of those words.
No, it's basically that. So I watched this anime, and also, mind you, I was very sick when I watched this because I thought I had COVID. I was so sick, like first round. So I watched this entire anime while I was bedridden and half conscious. But the general gist of it is there's a bunch of kids that are like puberty age, maybe a little bit past like the 15 to 16 age. And there are soldiers that are mech pilots, and they have to be paired together, a boy and a girl.
Isn't
And-
this literally what we were just talking about?
Yep,
With the whole fucking.
yep.
Why are we rehashing?
Because this was that is way too aggressive.
It's the most aggressive.
But it's an anime that I watched that was literally the plot. It wasn't Pacific Rimified where it was, oh, this is safe for TV. This is like, it was like the positions of driving would be the female was down, like hands down, butt up. And and
Yeah,
then
so
when the mech turned on, these handles would form about here.
Like motorcycle grip. Gotcha.
Right.
yeah, then they were sexing.
Right, but it was also they were like
Like
teenagers.
Like the harder and faster you thrust, the faster the thing goes.
Well, there was a point where they went faster and like the mech like
They
transformed.
also go harder and deeper.
It was very uncomfortable. I don't get uncomfortable a lot, but it made me uncomfortable. I was like, this is hentai, but not hentai.
Look, here's the question. Since we're animating for this intro bit, so I've been watching My Hero, getting caught up on that.
Cool.
By that I mean I've started it over.
You've got plenty of episodes right now.
That's
Why do they have to take these high school girls and sexualize them to the point that they do? Like, do all anime do that? It's like I'm sitting there going, I'm a 37-year-old man, and they're like making tit jokes about a 16-year-old cartoon chick.
Well, a lot of it's also the kinds of anime you watch. I watch.
Here's where I'm going with that, because it's not even that point. I mean, you know, I also think that's weird, but then you have people going, "This is my waifu." Like, I jerk off to this anime girl, and I'm like, now I'm going, is she 16? Like, how old is she in that anime?
That actually is a big point of contention in modern anime like communities. Is the like, hey, these are minors. We shouldn't be drawing racy art of them.
Exactly. Like My Hero, it's like if they just went, they're in college, then sure, you can have the one that creates stuff, Yaya Rosa with her titties out, making titty jokes.
Now, there's
They're in college.
I would say that arguably one of the
So,
most attractive
Miss
ones.
Midnight,
That was what I was going to get at. Arguably,
she
one of the most
she
attractive
is an
ones on
adult,
there for me.
and I don't
Right.
feel weird saying that. And the same with what is it, Mountain Girl, Miss Mountain.
Something like that.
Yeah.
something like that. She gets big.
Yeah.
She gets
That's not the only thing.
Yeah, that's not the only thing, you know what I'm saying?
Oh, gather round, ye mates of mine, for tales of nerds and lore. Three best friends on a podcast line with laughs and chats galore. From comics bright to movies grand and games we love to play, we'll sail the seas of fandom land in our own nerdy way. Heave-ho, raise a glass to the stories we entwine, with laughter loud and knowledge vast, nerded through the grapevine. Heave-ho, come join the crew, we'll share our tales divine, from D&D to MCU, nerded through the grapevine. From wizards bold to galaxies far, we dive into each quest, with theories wild and memes that spar. We're surely blessed, no jest. We'll chat of heroes, foes, and plots, and all the trends that shine. With every laugh we'll tie the knots in our nerdy design. Heave-ho, raise a glass to the stories we entwine, with laughter loud and knowledge vast, nerded through the grapevine. Heave-ho, come join the crew, we'll share our tales divine, from D&D to MCU, nerded through the grapevine.
Hi, everybody. I'm Austin Shazam. I have notes.
I was about
Pfeiffer.
to say, I feel like you've been studying.
I've got notes.
I'm Otto. I have risen on the third podcast, Cogdell.
And I'm Tiny. I'm impressed that he remembered all those words without help.
And we are Nerded Through the Grapevine, the podcast where three best friends gather weekly to talk about our favorite parts of past, present, and future nerd culture. You know, I'm going to preface a lot of what we're doing here with just a fun fact, because you know how I love fun facts. We had a whole episode about this.
Whole episode.
Well, fun fact. If you wake up and there's a cowboy standing next to you, what is the first thing you need to ask them?
The first question you ask the cowboy is this Cowsboys Times?
Is this Cowsboys Times? Okay. Because that's the correct response for those that have listened along the way. That is also the age of the samurai. And a lot of people forget.
For all except for about 23 years.
Yes. Well, it's a 3-year overlap because the age of the samurai was 1185 to 1868, and Cowboys Times was 1865 to 1895. So,
Well, the last true samurai died in 1877.
so you've got quite a bit of overlap there that I think that is massively overlooked by Hollywood, because historically speaking, the interactions of the gunslinger cowboy style and the honor-bound samurai style, they could have. They
That
could
be
have
a really cool, like buddy cop or spaghetti western.
Well,
kind of
don't
thing.
say that like that, because then you'd just be talking Shanghai Noon.
I mean, it did work out for him, right?
Yeah, but that's kung fu.
Yeah, but like you can do it differently. Like things can, like imagine it in like Samurai Champloo style, where it's like not monster of the week, but like weekly. Like we're doing this week. Here's the task where we have to go, and it's a samurai and like a Clint Eastwood style, like gritty but honor bound, like a outlaw kind of deal.
Or what if the mother of the child was a gunslinger and taught, and the father was a samurai, and the child grew up?
Should be the mother of horses instead of the mother of dragons.
I don't know what's a kid. What's she gonna do? Go into horses are born from their mothers. She can't walk into a fire.
I have horse eggs.
She can't walk into a fire with a horse's head
Okay,
and
so
come out
all
with
I'm
3
saying
baby
is-
horses.
Is
All I'm
horse
saying-
egg the bassist of horse
Look,
maze?
all I'm saying is I have seen the Mr. Hands video, so I know how
Oh.
it's made.
Get the hell out of here.
Oh God.
So that was a fun fact that I found out today because I was like, wait, what? Because I know that I knew that the samurai times, ended in the 1800s, but I didn't know how closely everything was because I thought like early 1800s. But no, it dragged on. It was
Yeah.
great.
Well,
But it was also them having to fight against the altering style of Japanese imperialism. So they no longer wanted the samurai around.
and guns started to become a thing.
Guns did become a thing, and I did some research on guns because
Ooh.
we wanted to talk a little bit with y'all today about the Wild West and some Cowboys
Yeehaw.
times. Because you talk about nerding out, I was over some stuff. We like talking about nerdy stuff that you nerd out over, and there are some damn cowboy nerds out there.
There are.
Oh yeah, my dad was a big John Wayne, Clint Eastwood fan, and there used to be a show on, I think it was the Discovery or History called Wild West Tech, where they would,
I think that was history.
History
That
Channel.
sounds history.
But they would do like, here's how a steam locomotive works. And then they'd have little skits of like people in Wild West like get up doing like locomotive things, and they'd bring in experts and talk about the stuff at the time and how it progressed and how important it was to like the West. And they just do different stuff like that. I remember
This was how the West was won.
well, they actually did stuff on like the rifles, and even go down. They had a special on Billy the Kid, and they did like all of his outlaw stuff. Like they went into detail, talked to experts, and like did reenactments of stuff. It was really fun, and it kind of got me into that Wild West thing because me and my dad would watch that.
One thing I did, kind of bouncing off of our topic a couple weeks ago of the interesting facts, I just compiled a bunch of interesting Wild West facts.
Gimme.
One of my favorite was, and you don't see this on the movies, but during Cowsboys times, feral camels roamed the plains of Texas.
But I thought Camel Desert, Texas, not desert.
Yeah, but we're talking here in America.
Yeah, that's
in
what I
North
say.
America.
Why camel? Why camel in Texas? Camel usually in not Texas.
Yeah. Well, let me find the exact fact because I've done some clipping.
Yeah, I was wondering, is this like
I want to know how much extra you backed up those camels in Texas because that's some bold statements there, buddy.
okay? So I am having a little bit some
Okay.
of the back files.
So
are firing.
at the time, the army imported 66 camels from the Middle East, despite the animals' more objectionable qualities. They spat, blah 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 blah. Their experiment was as the Civil War. Hold on, my lines are running together.
I think I've heard this story.
They brought them in basically to see if they could make better cavalry troops onto camels instead of horses.
No.
It didn't work.
No.
So they just set them free so they did what animals
That's the
do
most
and then made it
American
and
thing.
multiplied. So it's possible today that you could go out into the desert of Texas and walk upon a native feral camel.
That's like over in Carolina where they were doing all the monkey testing to see if they could turn them into soldiers, and then they set all the monkeys loose when they realized they wouldn't obey commands.
Yeah, the last reported sighting was in 1941.
Didn't we have like 4 movies on why the monkey soldier is a bad idea?
Probably plenty of science fiction that's going to let you know like why things are bad ideas and why you shouldn't do them. But some people are like, oh no, but mine's going to be different than that one.
It's not called Skynet. It's called
Air-
Sky Flyer.
It's called airfish.
It's Airfish.
It's airfish, not Skynet.
Oh my gosh.
Ooh.
It's like
Sounds
they're using
fancy.
it as they're using these things as like manuals. I swear, if someone's like, "I'm going to make dinosaurs real again," it's over. We need to stop there.
So I've been watching some Wild West movies, trying to prepare myself to talk about the Wild West.
Was
times.
one of them extra wild?
But actually, a bunch of them were extra wild because I got in.
No, like Wild Wild West.
Wiki wiki yow, wiki wiki way.
Yes, that's Oh, my
Will
God.
Smith's famous Wild Wild West.
He turned down being Neo in the Matrix just so he could be in Wild
I
Wild
can't
West.
imagine because
So he could play James West.
Will Smith tries to play a hard ass, but he's not a hard ass.
He's not.
He's a goofy dad, and he keeps trying to be these characters that are grizzled.
I don't know.
He
Like,
doesn't even do the goofy dad thing very well.
No, he doesn't anymore.
What if he is actually a pretty tough guy and nobody sees him as that, and that actually is causing his anger to become worse?
It's hard for me to think that a cuckold is that tough.
I guess.
I mean, maybe that's why he's so angry.
Well,
True.
I mean, clearly that's why he's angry.
But to pass, Will Smith was in the movie Wild Wild West, which was a fun blending of Wild West and steampunk.
It was a steampunk Wild West. I mean, there of anything that you could have that would be an old, like, hey, you know what would be really cool if we had like a steampunk like tank that could like roll around and shoot, like, I don't know, like have its own like own cannons and stuff and go over all terrain and stuff. Yeah, but you know, it'd be even cooler than a tank, a spider. Where'd the jump come from? Where'd the jump come from? Like, what was the first, and then there was a spider? Or did the spider come first, and then the idea of what the spider could be came later?
Well, they probably went, what's the thing that a lot of people are afraid of? And then somebody went, well, arachnophobia is a thing. And they're like, so what if we gave a spider legs?
And then they also had like heat-seeking buzzsaw missiles. Do you remember that scene?
Yep.
These guys had collars on their neck, and then buzzsaws.
No, it wasn't heat seeking. It was magnets.
Right, magnetic.
The collars were giant
self-spinning
magnets.
buzzsaws that can turn on a dime and chase these guys.
Oh, yeah.
It's the most batshit movie, but I need
It's
to
still
watch
fun.
it
It's a
again.
fun movie because like all the gadgetry, like in the train and stuff. It's just fun.
That was peak Burger King toy time.
Yeah, and that wasn't like a kids movie.
No, I mean, it was mostly a kid's movie for the slapstick humor and like the whimsicalness of it, but there were a lot of adult undertones on it. I mean, hell, he's playing drums on the boobies.
Yeah,
It's true. It's true.
Yeah, and I mean, making
We've all been there.
yes.
I mean, every guy does it. The first time, it's like,
At least
I gotta
once.
know.
Yeah.
I'm not getting there. That's my private life. So I've been watching a couple movies, and one's a movie, one's a miniseries. The movie is called The Revenant.
Is that with the Leonardo
Da
turtle
Vinci.
guy?
Yeah, it's with Leonardo DiCaprio.
Yeah, the turtle.
I thought it was Da Vinci.
And
They had the blue mask with the katanas.
Hold on. I've been trying to think of this thing all day. I just need to get this out of the way because it's driving me nuts. What's that purple stuff you get, that you clean with that you get like the Dollar Tree?
Fabuloso.
No, it's Fabulosa.
I hate you.
I had to get it out of there.
I hate you. You don't even. She doesn't even go to this school. Why did you Hermione me? Anyway, damn it. I didn't know those two movies were connected, but I'd recognized some names. And I was thinking, hey, well, wouldn't that be cool if the two things were connected? But it was The Revenant with Leonardo DiCaprio. Came out in 2016. He won an Oscar for it after everything
His
else.
first.
That was that long ago?
Yeah, a long ass time
I thought that
ago.
was like a year or two ago.
Ooh.
Dang.
And then
That was in the before time.
Then how come we talked about a bear in the woods? Because of that movie, everybody knows what a bear in the woods is like.
yeah, because
I've also never seen it.
dude. Okay, and I'll talk about both of them, but the second one that I've been watching is called American Primeval.
So those
That's
are
on
like,
Netflix.
they're the same? Like they're connected?
Actually, yes.
Oh.
Do they have to be watched in a certain order?
Well, The Revenant is, of course, a prequel just because of the date that it takes place.
So kind of like same universe kind of thing.
Yeah, I mean, same universe, not the same actor portraying the same person, but revolving around the same historical figure that's within that time frame. Hugh Glass has somebody that's with his company that is. I'll read it for you real quick. Jim Bridger.
That is a name.
And Jim Bridger is a real life mountain man who was the founder of Fort Bridger. Now, Jim Bridger was in the movie The Revenant. He was played. I don't forget who it is.
I didn't know it was about Jim Bridger.
No, it was about. No, the movie was about Hugh Glass. the Revenant was.
Oh, but it's based on Jim Bridger.
Yeah. Hugh Glass is the guy.
How did it get
Leonardo
around his pants?
that needed
Hugh Glass.
Hugh Jass?
Yeah.
That's a stretch.
Sorry, I
She
heard
wasn't
it.
that big.
Bridger
Probably
and-
why
and-
the bear got after him.
and
Right?
dude, when the bear got after him, there's not more of a gruesome scene that I've.
Bears are
all I'm gonna
scary.
say is don't fuck the bear.
Bears
No.
are scary, dog.
Also-
especially like a grizzly.
Baldur's Gate.
That was the grizzly. I think it was either a grizzly or a Kodiak. I don't know for sure, but like this ginormous creature mauls him because he thinks that it's close enough to him that he can kill it, and he shoots it with his musket, and it just pisses the thing off.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, they found grizzlies with like 5 or 6 45 ACP slugs
Oh,
in
yeah.
its forehead. And if you don't know what a 45 ACP is, it's probably about the size of my finger here, bullet about that big, embedded in, and
Yeah, roughly.
it's usually enough. That's what whenever I used to have my personal carry weapon, that's what I carried, because with a defensive round, it will put down most things. It's like getting punched.
Except for bear
Right. But
or hogs.
a grizzly will take 6 of those to the skull and then still kill you, and then it will heal over. Like, you don't mess with grizzlies.
No.
And
They will turn your face to a deli counter.
now, The Revenant is the story of Hugh Glass, and he was a tracker, and well, basically that's what he was. He was a tracker, and he was a woodsman. He knew how to survive off the land, so he would lead people.
Did the bear hear his cheeks clapping when he was...
I don't
Because it's Hugh Glass?
no, Otto. It's not. It's no. Are you enjoying your joke?
Are you forgetting that there's a whole L in there?
I'm having fun with it. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I'm trying to have a little banter. Y'all cut me off all the time with banter.
What
I mean,
banter?
Like, such as what?
We don't ever have banter.
We never cut anyone off.
Sorry, I
for a
know we're
dumb
very
joke.
serious podcast here.
Yeah.
Exactly.
I'm
That's
sorry for the
we are
disturbance. I'll let you.
educational.
Okay.
We talk about education, religion, and politics, and nothing else.
So Hugh Jass was a giggling off mic. He's over there doing it.
Oh my gosh. You'll have to check the video for that.
He was actually a woodsman. He would lead people through the areas and show them how to get to and from where they're going.
So he had a big wiener and a big donk.
He did. No, he actually was. He had a son who was an Indian. That his name was, oh man, I forget his name. I think it was something like Arrow or something like that. I don't remember. I'm real.
Wasn't
bad.
that on CW?
It was.
I'm
on the
pretty
CW.
sure I saw that on the back of a van, like Mother of Three Arrows.
Yeah, I can't remember. But anyway, the I don't. Is it? God, what's his name? I can't remember. It doesn't matter. But he was along with him in this kind of thing in the woods, and it's just brutal. It's just it's a look into the Wild West that's not so Hollywoodized to where it's. Yes, it is a Hollywood production, but it's not so Hollywoodized that it's a glamorous life. Because if you think about it, for all intents and purposes, Cowboy Times would absolutely suck to live in, out in the prairie, out in the open, out in the any second somebody's going to come along and possibly kill you just because they can and take your stuff.
Yeah, but no taxes.
Or your food supply gets wasted, and then you starve to death in the winter.
There's so many ways you can die. Now, with The Revenant, it was just a focus on Leonardo DiCaprio's character just going and surviving and getting from point A to point B. He narrowly escapes death so many times, and it's just to think about just to travel from the distance of where we are now to possibly, like, I don't know, let me think about how far that trip was. It was like maybe a couple 100 miles. So it's like a trip from here to Nashville. And
Nashville's only 67 miles away, actually.
Well, like,
Yeah.
is it really?
Yeah.
Okay, let's think. Memphis.
Oh God, that's a 10-hour drive. That's a 10-hour two-way drive. I did that in one day. At
So
two and back.
so what would typically take us on a freeway in a car doing this, but these guys are over and having to go over mountainous terrain, over towards the Rockies, all this other shit. So and they're all over in like northern Utah.
Are you talking about like the Oregon Trail?
Yeah.
Oh yeah, no, that's like multi-states. You're going from like.
Well, not piloting the whole thing, but just leading the people along it to certain points.
Okay.
Because now that point only got into the fur trapping and the fur trades and everything that happened along those areas in the woodsmans and everything else. But that also was along with Jim Bridger, and Jim Bridger established Fort Bridger in the show American Primeval. And
Okay.
in American Primeval, it's probably like a 50-year gap from that time frame until this time frame. So this is taking place in American Primeval. It's taking place in 1857, going along with what is called the Mountains Meadow Massacre, and that was when the Mormon militia and a group of Paiute Indians formed together with a guy named John Lee, and they slaughtered, nobody knows a real number. They know that they attacked a wagon train that was heading out west. But they were passing through this area in Utah, and they didn't want them to travel further west and corrupt. The Mormons were a little bit more militant at that point.
It was in there like more of an overtly culty kind of.
Well, that's whenever their leader, who denies any bit of knowing anything like this happened. Like Brigham Young was his name, and he was the one that was into the polygamy and was into the blood atonement for sins and everything. Like if they sinned against you, they must have blood atonement. Their blood spilt upon the ground. Da da da. So yeah, it would make sense for him to have something to do with it, but at the same time, he claimed no connection to it whatsoever.
Well, it's like the typical like mafia thing. Like,
Yeah, like
I didn't order anything. What my guys do, they do. I didn't do any of that.
for the events that have transpired, I can't say that I partook in those because they have their own brains. They don't always listen. But fun fact for those that like riding through this world all alone.
Oh,
Tig plays Brigham Young.
really?
Yeah.
Oh, I
It-
have to check this out.
It blew my fucking mind whenever I'm sitting there because, like, I do my best when I recognize somebody to try to marinate on who this is before I go to the Google machine because you need that workout. Like, just you need it. If it's there, find it. Look in your brain, find
Some
it.
brain juices flowing.
But I realized I sat there and it was like maybe episode 2, and then I started hitting my wife like, hey, Trudy, and she's like, what? I'm like, sorry, I know you're reading. This guy
I
on
know you have quivering thighs, but
No, I don't know. I don't think that's in the book she's reading right now. Even though she did cry at the shop today reading a book, but that's she loves books. I was like, Trudy, look, Brigham Young. And she's like, who? I was like, from that show we watched about the Mormons and the things that they were going back to the old way. She's like, oh yeah, that's what. So that he's taking it. Yeah, so he's in this show. But look who's playing him. And she looks for a second. I was like, yeah, he doesn't look the same without the cuts on. That's Tig. And because Tig, I forgot how big of a predominant nose
oh
that
yeah,
man
Yeah.
has.
he's got quite the proboscis,
But you take away all of his facial hair,
quite the protuberance.
and he looks like a completely different human being.
Yeah, he's got kind of like sunk-in cheeks and high cheekbones that are very pronounced.
And well, anyway, the American Primeval takes place during that time frame involving that massacre, and no historian knows the exact number, but there is a pretty much universal agreement upon researchers that say no less than 120 people were murdered.
Oh my gosh.
Dang.
The ones that were kept alive from it actually were 17 children who were under the age of 6, and 4 of them were taken by the local Latter-day Saint families to eventually be returned to Arkansas. So they killed them and stole their children.
Dang.
That's messed up.
That's rough.
Yeah, it was.
Wild West be crazy.
Yeah, I
That,
mean, that's the kind of stuff you'd have to deal with over there because as I'm watching the show, like it does these Wild West tropes. Because you think about like a Wild West movie, and you got this big badass bounty hunter coming into town, and he's got a prize head he's gonna have to collect, whether they're alive or dead. $1,500, but half if they're dead. So he grabs a couple.
I don't think it's gonna be $1,500. It'll be like $100.
No, that's what he said. Like it's a 15. It was a high head bounty, and he was all the way
That'd
from.
be like a millionaire.
Yeah, he was like a New York, like all the way from New York City.
New York City.
New York City. What's that from? He
The Pace
it
commercial.
is. He gets his salsa from New York City.
oh my gosh.
New York City. I haven't thought about the fucking fucking commercial. It's so why
Every
does that
time-
live in your head?
Every time I hear New York City, I hear
New York City.
New York City every single time. Peace picante sauce.
Oh god.
Like how did like, the same way that you know all the words to the original Power Rangers show, except mine's New York City.
I understand. Dude, Mike Anderson Ford, home of the Lifetime Oil Change, located in beautiful Smithville, Tennessee. Like, why?
Come down to
Real
Casey's
men.
Frontier Chevrolet, the dealership in the middle of the cow pasture.
Why does that?
Real Men of Genius.
Oh God, now Real Men of Genius.
Real men of genius.
Thank
Today
you.
we salute you, Mr.
Wheel.
Roller bag, roller cooler, roller bag man.
They're so good. I remember because
That's the singer of Survivor, the same guy that sang "Eye of the Tiger."
really.
Yeah.
Tom Petty.
No, shut up.
Richard Petty, his brother.
Yeah, Richard Petty.
Praise
That's
Hail,
who it
praise
is.
Dale.
See, it was easier than taking hands from a baby.
Say taking hands.
Yes,
That's
he
how
did.
the saying goes.
It did, just like beating off your dad's horse. Like
Yeah.
it's
Yeah, killing two birds with two stones.
it's the only logical thing. It's the only logical thing.
Oh my gosh.
Something that I noticed about these movies, though, like they did a really good job of demonstrating the different styles of weaponry that were available during those days. Because they had different versions of guns that you would have, and I also watched another one today that I only got to watch partially because I had seldom amount of time for like actual watching, and it was more or less just watching the parking lot, seeing if people were going to come in. Like, oh, here's a car, here's somebody. It's not. Oh, here's a car, here's somebody. Oh, it's not. So that was my day today, but it was called the Sister Brothers. It had Joaquin Phoenix and Step Brothers. We always have John C. Reilly.
John C. Reilly.
Yeah, so it's John C. Reilly and
That's
Joaquin
an
Phoenix.
interesting pairing.
Yeah, it was it was kind of like a serious / comedy at the same time, like a dark comedy kind of deal. It was pretty dope.
Isn't it? And it's a western.
It's a western.
Okay.
But the styles of ammunition that you would notice is you would have revolvers, but not all these revolvers would be like the kind that you would think of when you're thinking of your cartridge-based revolvers.
Yeah,
that
you're
have
talking about like the muzzle-loading black powder revolvers.
muzzle-loading black powder revolvers,
Yeah.
which they also had their own form
Which-
of ammunition shells that
Yeah.
they could do, like almost like your modern-day ammunition, but they were in paper casings.
Yeah, they were Minet balls.
Yeah,
A lot of them, not all of them.
that was the most popular one.
Right. Well, and then during that time was the invention of the Colt Single Action Army and the Colt Peacemaker.
Yep.
They were the first, revolvers that actually took a brass casing.
Yeah, they were the metallic cartridge as opposed to like paper wadding cartridges.
Yes.
And funny enough, the black powder Colt 45 Army, you can where it's black powder, you can actually buy those without doing a background check.
Yeah.
Because it's like with muzzle loaders, so you can. There's a company out there that makes those and gets that are a replica, like a fully firing replica, but you can get them shipped to your door.
That's pretty badass.
Yeah, they're not
Yeah.
considered. They're legally not considered firearms.
I mean, they'll knock a hole in you the size of a quarter all the
Yeah,
way through.
like
yeah.
it's still a gun, but like the fun way that
now,
we have our gun laws like balanced and like
they're
held together with twigs. There's so
Yeah.
many loopholes.
they're dangerous
I'm gonna
within
go
at
with-
least 40 feet.
Look, I'm gonna go ahead. Okay, little story, and then I'm gonna tell you that it's dumb. Okay, so worked with a guy at our local Walmart.
Mm-hmm.
Not the good one, but the bad one.
Oh, the bad
the
one.
bad one.
Oh,
His
no.
daily carry was a black powder revolver.
Those things can go off.
Do
accidentally.
not carry one of those as your daily carry.
No,
No.
It is the stupidest thing you could do.
If
That
a
is
black
so
powder,
dumb.
if a black powder revolver
wasn't smart.
is not to be, if it's going to be like loaded, that means it's about to be shot.
Right.
Yeah.
That's when it should
Um,
be loaded. Is when it's about to be shot. It shouldn't be carried around loaded.
Right.
That's a very volatile ammunition you've got in there. Those are the kind that actually do go
Well,
off by
that-
getting bumped. Part of it.
until it gets moisture.
Yeah, then it don't do shit.
Right.
Because you just got a bunch of dummy rounds.
he had said like he loaded it like 6 months ago. He's like about every 6 months I reload it.
so
Why-
you never plan on using
Right,
it. I
and
got
it sat most of the time in the glove box of his car. I did see it. He was like, "This is what it is."
It was crazy
It
to
was
find out.
like, "What, bruh?"
It was crazy to find out that like the reason that people became like a more powerful like you became more powerful than the next person by being able to shoot more than they can quicker. That's the way that the guns worked. So they wanted to find out ways to be able to have quicker reload times. So with those black powder revolvers, people would carry around like 6 different loaded revolver like barrels, like the revolving chambers, like in their belts, so they could just put them on there in a pinch. So if they're in a shootout, they would get seek cover, change one out. But
not only that, they had small like pepper box pistols and things like that because sitting at the saloon doing some gambling, somebody cheats you shoot them under the table.
Yep.
And so there were all kinds of interesting,
they had
weird ways to hide firearms.
They had a gun ring.
Oh yeah.
On Pawn Stars one episode. And they were like, an old man was, of course, he was still alive,
They had a gun writing desk on there one day. It was literally a little table like they have at the funeral home with the book that you sign. That if you like went to the back and opened it a certain way, it had a gun in it and it would shoot you.
And they had
the funeral podium was the gun.
They had two different styles of ammunition that came out with the metal casings around the same time, and you had your. They had the pin fire and they had the rim fire. Now, pin fire's odd. They're not around no more.
They are not.
They're not efficient. But the idea was you would click your firing mechanism. It would trip a pin on there. That pin would then make it go off. It was a more delayed reaction too, because it would be like click, boom.
Think of the normal bullet, but it's got like a little penis sticking off the back. That's
literally what it is. It's just a little dick.
Yeah,
just a little dick, just sticking off the back of it. Just a flick.
A little bang dick.
Little flick dick.
Well, I mean, they also
they should make those.
Well, at the time, like they made revolvers with more chambers to combat how long it would take to do things, and
they became more and more likely to explode.
Exactly. Like there was a French company. There was a very few that made it over here. I can't think of the name right now.
I had that,
but it
saved
was
on a
20-round revolver.
And
it was pin fire.
And they had stupid shit out at the time too. Like whenever they didn't have metallic casings for stuff, and then metallic casings that did come out, you had a lot of money to put into them if you had them.
Oh yeah.
So you had people trying to find ways around it. Like, I got to shoot as many as this casing style has. Well, that's where Gatling guns kind of came in.
Yep.
Because they were just multi-chambered powder loads. And you could fire and get them reloaded. You'd have 2 or 3 Gatling guns. You'd have one being loaded while one's being fired, and so on and so forth.
The Gatling gun, the cool thing with that was,
and then they made a shell version of it.
Yeah, with the shell Gatling gun. Well, with the black powder ones, they did make a Gatling gun that was a grenade launcher, because that was, like you were saying, they would just put more chambers on it.
Yeah.
And this was made for ship-to-ship combat, so the chambers would be like tennis ball size, and you would pack it full of stuff, and then you'd have it put on the bow of your ship, so when you're like getting ready to board somebody, you could sit there and turn a crank and pepper tennis balls of just pellets on the side of the ship.
Tennis balls of death.
Right. And this need for, because there was still even after the actual like Colt came out with their, they had their Peacemaker and everything that had the ammunition that would be in there. There was their normal style rimfire.
Yeah, and we're talking like these revolvers at the time were all single action, by the way.
Yeah.
Which means, for the uninitiated, the trigger does one single action. So you have to cock it with your thumb and then pull the trigger, because just pulling the trigger will not activate the cocking mechanism.
No. So that's why you see like people doing rapid fire with them, they're doing it with 2 hands.
Yep.
Like, that's why they're doing it, because they have to activate that. They have to activate the hammer on the back. They have to activate the trigger mechanism to drop the hammer.
Right.
Yeah, check out Gary Mickelcheck.
So fast. So furious.
He can shoot just a normal like semi-auto AR almost as fast as a fully automatic one. We're talking like within a couple thousandths of a second.
And do it accurately. Like,
Yes.
I've seen him, he'll do 3-gun competitions, and it's like, this man isn't human.
He is not.
Now, the thing that was a drawback to these revolvers was their accuracy at distances, because they were only deadly up to a certain distance, and then they just became a scare tactic.
Yeah, well, I mean, a lot of them at the time didn't have rifling. They were just smooth bore.
Yes.
Which the rifling causes the round to spin, which creates accuracy over more distance.
Yep.
Because it keeps it straighter.
And also, there was a lot more deviation in the ball you would get.
That too.
Because, like, with modern ammunition, it's all made with machines, so they can really dial in. Like high-end ammunition is
Right.
precision made.
Well, and not to mention, a lot of people back then, they were hand casting their own ammunition.
Right.
You didn't have anything else to do at night, so you're like, well, I guess I'm gonna make me some bullets.
Hell, my brother did that. Not surprising.
Yeah.
Not a shock.
Yeah.
But it wasn't until 1860 that anything was even around that had the option for rifling that was a rifle that could actually, you could put in a cartridge, do an action, get rid of the cartridge, and then put another bullet in there.
And correct me if I'm wrong, wasn't the first one of those a lever action?
It was, and it's the Henry rifle.
Yeah, I was thinking it was the Henry, but I wasn't 100%.
And you think about the Henry rifle, and you think about the one that was actually much better than the Henry rifle, and that was the one that was the gun that won the West, and
The
that was
Winchester.
the Winchester Model 1873.
Yep.
Because and you look at the old Henry rifles, and they had like the way that their actual mechanisms were, they had like straight bars, and sometimes they had a little ring loop and stuff on them for you to be able to pull it back, and then have something in there to be able to pull it back into position to where it would reposition everything up top. They only had a limited amount of supply that they could use for what their actual magazine styles would hold. Like, because it wasn't even a magazine, it was like a loading chamber. I forget what it's actually referred to as because I didn't take that note. But it was with the Winchester one, the model 1873, it made it smoother, quicker to be able to get that cartridge, loaded in there, because they made it a full hand, to where you can have that full hand in there, use your full hand's momentum to be able to cock it and recock it, and all that, and load it, reload it. Was also accurate at distance, which made it dangerous.
Yeah, because it had the way that guns work. The longer the barrel is, the more time the powder has to burn and build pressure behind the round, which will get it spinning faster and get it flying further.
Yeah. There is a point of diminishing returns, though.
Right,
Yeah,
but
you can't make like a forever long barrel.
No.
Hopefully,
Right.
because it'll
But-
lose.
with what they were shooting, it was probably 45 long Colt, which is like a 45 ACP bullet, but about 3 times the length,
Yeah.
or
About
30,
the size
30.
of my pinky. Just the pinky, like the
Right.
whole pinky.
Just the size ammunition that they would be hitting things with. That's why Buffalo don't exist anymore.
Oh yeah, they were brush guns, they were woodsman's rifles, they were everything.
They were military use weapons as well, just because they didn't have a better technology for the
I
military.
mean,
to use
they
at the
were
time.
tools of the time. That was how you ate. That was how you did a lot of things. It was no different than a pocket knife or a pencil.
You're
right.
correct.
When you're on the frontier, it is a time like you would need to go somewhere because there's bears.
Well, if
Yeah.
if
deer.
anything is indicative of how dangerous the
Look,
the
there's
West,
been bears in town here a
Yeah,
couple
that's
of
true.
times. Okay,
we've seen them.
I've tried to pet them.
Now, the bears we get around here, we have black bears. They're glorified Labradors.
As long as you don't
they're
run up
dogs
on
that
their
can kill
nest.
you.
Like, don't mess with their kids, and don't have food near them. You're going to be fine. They're not going to get you. They don't eat big
I
things.
mean,
They're mostly berries and foragers.
For the most part, as long as you're not in a bear's like immediate territory, they don't care about you. They'll leave you alone if you leave them alone.
Now,
Unless it's a polar bear.
a
Yeah,
grizzly
they're the only one that'll actively attack anything and everything.
around it,
Yes,
like they see,
all the
see
other
it. They'll
ones-
make a point to come to
Yeah.
you.
pretty much the other ones. If you see it and you just go away from it, it's not going to chase you.
Even a grizzly. Like, if you see a grizzly, just please get away from it.
Okay,
yeah.
They know humans are not worth the
Yeah,
fight.
don't be me. I'll go pet it.
It doesn't want your pets.
It wants my pets.
After watching this fictitious grizzly bear throw Leonardo DiCaprio around like he was a little baby,
Look, I'm a fucking Disney princess, okay? He isn't.
that's true. But I could only imagine what it would look like to see you picked up by the skin of your back.
It wouldn't pick me up. It would just gently wrap its little footies around me, and I'd be like, "Oh, look at them beans."
And then it's
Look at
6
them
inch,
beans.
it's 8-inch knives that are built
Yeah.
into its hands.
Exactly.
That just so happened to rip into his throat, and he couldn't scream.
There's another.
I would still
so,
die
It was
happy.
so gruesome. If you've not watched The Revenant, watch it. It is more of a gore fest than it is a western to me. Just saying. But seeing the things that they had to go through in these movies, like, they represent a little bit more of the dark Wild West than what you get in your spaghetti western style stuff.
Mhm.
It's not like that. Like you're not rolling into town.
None of that
like,
Dirty Harry shit.
None of that, because in this movie, in this universe, there was a Dirty Harry. He did go into town.
And he was smelly.
And no, he was going into town to collect that bounty. This bounty hunter was like your stereotypical like Dirty Harry style, like that he's a dark man. You can tell by the way that he's so grizzled, and nobody's gonna fuck with him. Nobody's gonna fuck with him at all. He's gonna go and he's gonna take care of this bounty. And people are talking to him, and like these two guys are like, oh man. Oh, are you gonna? You're gonna go try to? Okay, well, we might be able to help you find the way that they went. Let's go talk to some people, it'll be all right. It'll be all right. Just we've got this. We'll help you out if you want to cut us in. And they get him outside like 5 steps, and he's killed instantly because they all like him and a group of like 5 other people jump the man just so they can take his flyer for the bounty and go collect the bounty themselves because $1,500 in the West. Like $1,500 in the West is like $100,000 now time money.
Yeah, that's like you might not ever have to work again.
Actually, let me look that up. Let me look that up.
Yeah, do that because
that'd be worth
a lot.
That'd be worth a Google. Actually,
Yeah,
Right.
give it a goog.
There's another Wild West show I watched. It's called Hell on Wheels. It's about the other end of the Cowboy Times, at like the end of it.
Like during the beginning of the Industrial
It's
Revolution.
after the Civil War. It's when the Transcontinental Railroad's being built, and it has a lot of the similar. Like they paid a lot of attention to the detail of the
It's like Industrial
mechanics of the
Revolution.
time. Yeah, it's really good. The actor that plays Colin Bohannon in it is real fun.
Okay, well, if in 1857, $1,500 would be the equivalent today of $54,414
Still a lot.
A little bit of chunk of
for a
change.
single bounty.
Yeah, that's
For
a
a,
lot.
for a single bring this person to me.
Do you make $54,000 a year? I
No,
don't.
I
think.
don't.
No, I don't.
So that would be like you find this one person, bring them to me dead. You can have $25,000.
Yeah, that's a
Bring
lot
them
of
to
money.
like if you bring them to me alive, that'll be better. You can get 50,000. But if they just so happen to die along the way, I'll still give you 25 grand for just making sure they're here. Like that was the deal with American Primeval. Was this woman was one of the main focuses of it. There was a few different focuses. It was almost like a Quentin Tarantino movie kind of, to where you've got like here's a snippet of like this character right here, and here's a snippet of this character right here. Well, here's what this one's doing. Here's what this one's doing. Oh, their stories intersected. Like it was that kind of a movie.
Oh, that sounds fun. I may have to check that out.
It is. I've watched it twice now.
How much is out of it?
All of it.
Is it like 1 season, 2 season?
1 season limited series.
Okay.
It was made as a piece that was just it has the same tone as The Revenant. It's like overly gory, overly everything bad can happen to you because this is a lawless world kind of deal.
Right. Well, it is Netflix, so if it's good, it's only going to get 1 season ever.
Yeah, yeah, because then the second season it comes out, it's gonna be dog shit.
Right. Or never come out.
Tiny, you got any more fun facts that you saved over there?
I do.
Hit me with them.
Okay, so we've all heard of we've all heard of the bandit Elmer McCurdy. Well, his corpse had a more interesting life than the man himself.
Explain.
In 1911, Elmer McCurdy mistakenly robbed a passenger train he thought contained thousands of dollars. The disappointed outlaw made off with just about $46 and was shot by lawmen after that. Like shortly thereafter. McCurdy's unclaimed corpse was then embalmed with an arsenic preparation, then was sold by the undertaker to a traveling carnival, and it was exhibited as a sideshow curiosity for about 60 years. McCurdy's body was bought and sold by various haunted houses and wax museums for use as a prop attraction. His corpse finally wound up in Long Beach, California amusement park funhouse. During filming there in '76 for the television show The $6 Million Man, the prop's finger or arm, depending on the account, broke off, revealing the human tissue. Subsequent testing by the Los Angeles coroner's office revealed that the prop was actually McCurdy.
Oh my God.
He was then buried at the Boot Hill Cemetery in Dodge City, Kansas, 66 years after his death.
Imagine the call to a supervisor of, I just broke this thing and I think there's a dude in here. That's a boss.
Well, and then you find out not only is it a dude in there, but it's like
from Cowboy Times.
Yeah, from Cowsboys Times, and he's famous.
That is, I think I remember hearing that story, but that is wild.
Yes.
Oh, that's like in the end of Tombstone, to where he gives it that little speech at the end of Tombstone where it's talking about like what happened to the folks after the events there, and it actually talks about how whenever Wyatt Earp finally passed away, like some early Wild West like movie stars were at his funeral, and one of them was actually weeping.
Ain't that damn Wyatt Earp got his ass killed by a drunk outside of a gin house?
What's that off
What?
of?
The Green Mile.
No,
I can't remember the exact
No,
one.
no, it was not Wild Earp. It was
Billy the Kid.
It wasn't,
Yeah, Billy.
Yeah,
the
my
Kid.
bad.
yeah, because it was Wild Bill that was on his arm.
Yeah,
Which-
and they called him Billy the Kid. Yeah, that's right.
Now, Wild Bill is actually in the American Primeval.
Didn't he get shot in the back of the head while playing poker?
I'm not 100% sure, but I did not know that he was a part of the Mormon militia.
I did not know that either.
He was working with Brigham Young. So it was. I was like, I've heard that name before. I was like, Bill Haddock. Who's this Bill? Who is this guy? That name sounds familiar. And he's like, I guess that's why they call you Wild Bill. One of those reveals, like,
Jump scare.
Knew it.
like I guess I've got no other choice than to play the Joker. He said it. He's the fucking Joker.
Oh my gosh.
That was the entirety of
I
Gotham.
got jump knowledge.
The entire
No kung fu.
show Gotham was just about, oh, he might be the Joker. No, this guy's he's definitely going to be the Joker later on. No, maybe this guy's the Joker. It's almost like watching Smallville was like, hey, he's going to fly this episode. No, he's definitely going to fly this next episode. They hinted to it in the teaser trailer. It never happened.
Or they're going to be in the. I hear they built their own ER set because there's so many ER scenes in that show. With the amount of concussions people are in there for, like someone has brain damage. There's CTE in Smallville.
Oh, absolutely. That was just Clark's way of making people hush for a minute so he could do super things, was just tap them on the side of his on the temple, and that's the equivalent of him knocking them out.
That is
It's
dangerous.
going,
Shh. That's him. Literally, he would just go, shh.
You think what if he did it like too hard one time and it was like a
One time's hard enough.
well no
Poor
like
Lois
the,
Lane in
I
that
mean,
show's got like
what's that guy
we've
from
literally had this conversation before.
Yeah.
that guy from No Country for Old Men that has like the cow like thumper.
Oh, I can see the face.
and the haircut.
Yeah, it's
Jack Sparrow.
not Jack
No.
Sparrow.
Oh,
the
no,
man
no,
who is
it-
looking for Jack
It's,
Sparrow.
it's a Hispanic actor.
It's on the tip of my tongue. It's
Oh God,
Hey,
it's
Siri.
Benicio del Toro.
Hey,
yeah, but
Steven.
I'm talking about the guy he plays.
Damn it.
Oh, I
Robot's
couldn't
not
tell you that. I was just trying to think of the actor's name.
I'm going to look it up.
I've
It's
also
something
never seen
weird.
the movie.
It's a really good movie. No Country.
I've heard it is.
It's one of those that's like, speaking of westerns, it's a western but set in the modern era, kind of. And that's one thing I like about a lot of western things is like things that are set in it. Like The Mandalorian was a western style thing, but it was just set in the Star Wars times. It was the Star Wars cowboy times.
Star Wars was cowboy times, and actually, there's a guy on the internet who claims to be a vessel for multiple alien entities.
There's several people like
His name's Behar, and Behar says that actually Star Wars and Star Trek are factual things.
I think he needs to lay off the
He
psilocybin.
said that Star Wars is actually a telling of tales that have been told to us
Look,
since our conception as humans.
It's called a movie.
look, he's probably up there in league with the double-souled shaman. Okay, talking about
Javier
hummus
Bardem.
cannons and mushrooms and dragon pearls.
No, he's just talking. He's just a vessel. He's not talking about drugs.
Well, neither is a double-souled shaman. He's talking about health stuff.
Javier
mean-
Bardem is his name.
I was talking about Will Blunderfield.
No, I'm talking about the guy that with the haircut and the thing.
Yeah, but
Javier.
what's his name in the movie?
His name is Anton.
Anton Chigurh.
Yeah,
That's what it is. Sorry. It was on the tip of my tongue. I was like, it's something weird.
the only thing that I was saying about Jack Sparrow is he was in that fourth Pirates of the Caribbean movie that he was like this ship captain that was looking for Jack Sparrow.
There are only two Pirates of the Caribbean movies in my heart.
Oh,
maybe 3 on a good
you
day.
got to watch the original trilogy and let it widen itself.
Absolutely.
If you don't think that, like the fourth one was mad, the fifth one, why did it happen? The next one, it will happen, and I will watch it.
The first one, there only really needed to be one. The one was good.
One was good. The second and third, it was like good, okay, not bad. I didn't bother with the next one.
That's another time that lined up with Cowboy Times was Pirate Times. So we
Yep.
could have had a samurai pirate cowboy.
Look, what is a pirate other than a water-based cowboy?
Is it just a water boy?
So it's a water-based cowboy.
He's a ship boy instead of
Yeah,
a cowboy.
yeah. The cow's the ship. I'll be the father of whales.
Are you having a thought over there?
The time that ninjas were used for assassin missions the most were also around this same
So you
time
can have
frame.
a ninja, a samurai, a cowboy, and a pirate. Deadliest Warrior. This is just the show.
This is
Deadliest Warrior.
all in one episode, in one encounter, though, because they could all exist in the same time.
Yeah, it almost sounds like the beginning of a joke, like they all walked into a bar.
And so this cowboy, this samurai, this ninja, and this pirate all walk into a bar. You fucked.
I was just thinking that maybe they should have ducked.
I have one for you.
Huh.
3 men walked into a bar. The 4th one ducked.
And I was that second mouse.
Yeah, is there an echo in here?
What? We took
He literally said the same thing I said, just slightly different.
What?
Because
I didn't hear what you
He
said.
said the thing, and I said maybe they should have ducked.
Oh.
And then I was just Christopher Walkening from Catch Me If
Are
You
you
Can.
Christopher walking in here?
Yeah. Well, it's my fault. We're wrapping it up. So we talked about some Cowboys time.
Always wrap it up.
Always wrap it up for help control the pet population. So
Oh, condoms.
But I thought they were called thondoms.
okay. Shit. We're
Oh, no, are
stupid.
you okay?
We're stupid. I don't even remember what I was gonna say now.
We're wrapping it up.
Yeah, I know, but then I lost track of what I was even saying.
I mean, I'm just saying I like my condoms with the thong back.
With the ball strap to stay on.
Yeah.
You know, also funny thing, I was playing around with this earlier, and
Let me see that thong,
we can do it like
baby. The thong. I like it when the booty go. Baby, make your booty go. Oh, oh. The thong.
I
I
hope
have no idea where that come from.
that's your soul.
Yeah.
I was
I like the way you move the thing. I don't know any more of the words.
Everybody seemed to enjoy it. I was trying to develop a game show sound on here for us, just in case we ever wanted it to. Cause like, where the fuck does the pre-standard installed drum beat fit into anything besides Creedence
Fortunate
Clear?
Son.
Besides Fortunate Son.
Besides flying choppers
no,
over
this-
Nam.
Like this also it can sound like the intro to a game show because all you got to do is give it a little bit of. Ugh. All right, everybody. Thanks for joining us here.
That week old Bithel water wasn't good.
You drank the week old Bithel water?
I was out of water and I needed a sip
That's how
because
you get
Cisco
sick.
hurt my throat.
Honey, I got a bottle over here I hadn't even opened. I've
Well,
been
it's
saving.
too late now. I just needed a little swaller.
Oh,
Thanks,
God. I'm
Bithel,
just
I
getting
think.
over the sick. Don't get the sick.
Nah, he won't get the sick. Bet they
Yeah.
didn't have the sick.
That's what they say.
So the Cowboys Time stuff, although it looked like it might be fun in some of the movies we used to watch because it was the pew pews and all this, like I'm riding a horse, I'm jumping on a train. Watching The Revenant and American Primeval will probably let you see just how bad things could have gotten, as well as your food along the way. You don't know exactly what food standards are at this point in time, so you're just
Well, at that point in time, there was none.
it's like, do I want this meat cooked or do I just cut it off this animal and eat it? I don't know. I'm trying it both
And
ways.
there's also no heat or air conditioning. I love my air conditioning and having food ready. I don't like having to go find my own food and
Yeah.
have to not have air conditioning.
Yeah, I mean, honestly, the whole time that we've been thinking, in this room together as a collective about the times of the Wild West, the only thing that I've been thinking about is how I would be lost because I would have no way to eat Taco Bell.
Yeah.
And if you were to even go to the mother source of Taco Bell, the actual Mexican food, to go approach people that are living in Texas and are native to that area during this time, they would just probably kill you because you're there to steal their land, not eat their delicious food.
Well, I mean, and just think about this too. Most people never ventured more than a few miles from their homes at that time.
Because you
So
couldn't.
yeah, exactly. So if you went like the equivalent of like the vape sack to the closest Walmart,
Dude, that
you
was
might as well be on the other side of the world.
That's
Like,
my mom used to tell me stories like that because her grandmother lived in those times. Like my mom's in her 70s, and her grandmother would have been alive in the 1800s. So her grandmother used to tell her stories from the 1800s and talking about how when she grew up in Walling, Tennessee, and Walling is a small subsect of the southern part of White County.
if you blink as you drive, you'll totally miss it.
It's insane how small Walling is, but also how huge the farmlands are out there. Anyway, that's where like all of my family on my mom's side is from that area. But my mom's grandmother, I guess that would make her my great grandmother. She was alive in the 1800s, and she would talk about how, they would talk about, well, we're gonna go to Cookville later, and then she'd be like, you don't even understand. Somebody saying that they had to go to Cookville. That
yeah.
was, oh, honey.
Well, it's like,
Well, God willing, I'll see you again.
yeah, well, like the next town was like days of travel away. If you were lucky,
Because
it
there
was
weren't
days.
roads.
Yeah.
And getting there, because if you've ever gone to
Look,
Gainsborough,
I have
from,
played Oregon Trail, okay? I know exactly how dangerous those trails are.
right, but like going from Dodson Branch in Jackson County to Gainsborough, there is a windy road that, as in a modern day with vehicle and asphalt, is scary to drive.
Yeah.
In a horse, it was
And
probably.
your mom lives on it.
Oh God, I used to have to drive that way at night whenever I was like going to and from.
I would
coming from
refuse.
school. It was terrifying. I would go the long way if I could.
Like, there's places that are difficult to drive cars in nowadays. Imagine having to get anywhere with a horse and buggy.
At
Yeah.
night with no and there'd
Well,
be
'cause you-
bears.
because
There's
you-
bears.
Well, I
There
mean,
were established roads. Don't get me wrong.
Well,
there
I
were
mean-
dirt roads.
well,
Sparta had a main dirt road running through it in the 1800s.
it still does in some.
well, the meat-based motorcycle has a lot more sure footing, I believe, than cars do. So at least there's another brain to help you around.
You're correct.
But still, that wouldn't be a fun ride.
Like looking at the $1 Million Mile going down White County, knowing that like to get that entire thing turned into a road, that's how much that project was. But that thing was a main connecting road in Sparta for the entire state. That's how crucial it was. Sparta, Tennessee was almost the capital of Tennessee.
Man, that'd
You
be
probably
sad.
didn't know that, but you know how many
That would
votes?
have been a really sad capital.
Tiny might not even remember this, but this is some fun fact Sparta history from Sparta, Tennessee. How many votes away was Sparta, Tennessee from being the state capital of Tennessee?
It wasn't many. If I remember correctly, if I remember my White County history correctly, wasn't it like 11 or 13? Oh, it was one?
One.
Wow.
One.
I mean, it is the capital of something. In
I mean,
in the
could you
state.
imagine if, like,
Gum sucking.
if Sparta was the size of Nashville? Because that's what it would be. Sparta would be Nashville.
Well, think about all the different like places that intersect into White County.
Cookville would
Like,
be
you've got a
even
couple
worse.
you've got main highways that go there, and
No,
you've got
what I'm saying is that's where all the country music folk and everybody would be.
bluegrass would have been more country music than country music has bluegrass.
Well, I mean, White County is the home of Lester Flat.
No, Lester Flat always.
I
said
mean,
he was from
look.
Nashville, Tennessee. They claimed him postmortem.
Look, I will. Well, I mean, look, I have been in the house that Lester Flat built for his daughter, and banged the resident. Just one of them, not the others. So
Lester Flat
I've been
did?
there. No, I did.
Oh, okay. Listen to what you
The
said.
new owner.
Listen to what you said.
Yeah,
I thought
No,
that
no. I said I've been in the house that Lester Flat built for his daughter
and bang the owner.
and banged the current owner.
But if there was not a comma
You
there,
didn't put. You just said bang the owner.
no, if,
I did bang the owner.
that's fine. That's fine. But you didn't say that. You said I was at Lester Flat's house that he built for his daughter and banged the owner.
Yeah,
I
that's
thought you
still
were
a true
talking about
statement.
Lester Flat.
There was a.
Built the
no.
house for his daughter, then banged the owner.
Oh, okay.
And I'm like,
No.
whoa, how country is he?
No. I was just trying to add a little more credence to, my White County cred. Yeah, exactly.
that kind of.
I will say the main bathroom, the bathtub is an aggressively purple tub.
Okay.
Well,
Well, that's not surprising because
It was built in like the 70s.
because my parents' house. I don't know if you've noticed this whenever you.
Oh, that bathroom's like Pepto.
It is the pinkest of the pink. So,
Yes, it is.
so bold, single color bathroom schemes from the 50s, 60s, 70s. Not a very big far stretch for being a thing. Like that, it's a disgusting pink tile that's everywhere. And if they went from one pink tile to a different pink tile, but match the hues of the pink tile, it's impressive in its feet, but disgusting upon the sight.
Yeah, one of the shades of pink is. Have you ever had your dog throw up and it was kind of that pinkish color? One of the tiles was that color.
Yeah,
Pink
kind
dog vomit.
of like that fleshy pink,
Yep.
like a treat didn't get digested the right way.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
now the color of the shower, we won't get into that because that's my dad's business. He needs to clean it more often. Everybody, thanks for joining us this week. It has been a blast, just like a 45 ACP.
Whoa.
Hey, that's a gun
Hey.
joke. That's a gun joke. Thanks for joining us. Thanks for tuning in to all of our different things you can get in touch with us on, and thanks for watching us on the YouTubes whenever we get this video out. We've been doing our darndest to try to get these videos to
Damn
go
it, I
in
forgot to
correctly.
mention YouTube in the ad.
We're also on YouTube. If you want to check us out on there, get on YouTube, type in Nerd It Through the Grapevine, and watch our videos.
Perfect. I'll just cut that out.
Yeah, all right. Everybody have a good rest of your week. And if a cowboy walked in holding 3 grapes, Otto, what would you do?
I would hold the grapes and ask if they're Cowboy Times, and if they are, I would consume them.
What if the grapes comes from Cowsboys Times too? Then that'd be raisins.
Consume.
Hey y'all, what you doing down here in this hole?
Well, we just down.
Oh,
Oh. Well, we just down here trying to mine for gold.
are you turning it up? Oh my gosh.
I'm sorry, I just kept going for each other's voices over here with this echoey thing. It's just real fun to do. I can't put it on everybody at the same time though.
We have to select it. You have to be selected to have the echo.
Selected Echo has been completed in this part of the podcast. Everybody have a good rest of your week. Goodbye.
From wizards bold to galaxies far, we dive into each quest. With theories wild and memes that spar, we're surely blessed, no jest. We'll chat of heroes, foes, and plots, and all the trends that shine. With every laugh we'll tie the knots in our nerdy design. So whether you're a wizard or a knight so bold, or lost in sci-fi tales of old, tune in, my friends, we'll spin the yarn. In this nerdy heaven, you'll feel the charm. Heave-ho, raise a glass to the stories we entwine. With laughter loud and knowledge vast, nerded through the grapevine. Heave-ho, come join the crew, we'll share our tales divine. From D&D to MCU, nerd it through the grapevine. So here's to friends and fandoms bright in every joyous line. We'll keep the shanty rolling right, nerd it through the grapevine.